as a native New Yorker, I gotta be honest. I am like trying to really wrap my head around a lot of things, right? I'm trying to figure out what's going on in New York City. Come on, my people, we could do better than this. Yeah. Anyway, the video that we're about to show you contains graphic scenes, so viewer discretion definitely advised.
Some breaking news at noon. The search is on for a suspect after two people are stabbed. This was during rush hour at Grand Central Terminal this morning. Fox 5 obtained an exclusive video of this attack. Let's go out to Fox 5's Arthur Sheehan live at the scene. And Arthur, this all happened on the subway mezzanine at Grand Central.
Well, the video shows it happened actually inside the subway car itself right now. You pointed out police are still looking for the individual who stabbed two subway riders this morning on a crowded 456 Lexington line train. This was, as you also pointed out, in the middle of rush hour. Now, there are some reports out there that the individual in this case has been caught. Our information says otherwise, that he is still being sought. In the meantime, you are looking at cell phone video obtained by Fox 5, which was filmed inside the car as this was happening, and it shows at least two men were involved in the incident. One of them, who was standing on the floors, was stabbing a second man who appears to leap on the bench seats of the train as that assailant appears to jab him multiple times around the midsection of his body. Now, all the while, strap hangers in the video are seen pushing towards the ends of the car, trying to get out of the way of this violence, and once the subway car doors open, they flood out onto the platform of Grand Central Station. Now, this was the 911 call for this came in at 7:20 a.m. This was on the southbound number 5 train that pulled into the station. Police sources are telling us they believe this began as a verbal dispute before escalating into violence. Now, at this point, let's show you the other video. A 28-year-old male has been stabbed in the abdomen. A 32-year-old male has been stabbed in the abdomen and buttocks. We believe that this individual that's seen on the stretcher was the one that you saw in the video jumping up on the bench seats of that subway car. Both that are at a local hospital. We're not going to say which, just to be safe. Again, 3 people were involved in this incident. 2 of them are victims. They are at the hospital. A perp is still on the loose. A police source gives us a description of the person they are looking for. They describe him as a male, black, in his 30s, about 150 pounds, wearing a black jacket, possibly with a hoodie and possibly with a black hat. They say in all the commotion as those doors open, he also flooded out with everybody, so they're still trying to find him. That's the latest from here at Grand Central. Arthur Sheehan, Fox 5 News. Bianca, back to you.
Arthur, thank you for the update.
And I gotta be honest, they're gonna find that fool.
I'm like, what do you mean you still trying to find him?
No, they're gonna find him.
I know New York City is big. Times Square is pretty congested with people. But at the same token, New York, what's really going on with y'all, man? Like, the subway system have been on the news lately a whole lot.
Every 5 seconds. And what's pissing me off is the fact that, like the officials of New York City, every 5 seconds there's an increase in fare.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Pretty soon it's going to be like $10 to ride the train. But yet,
even if it's $10, it's still
I'm just being
safe.
sarcastic, right?
Yeah,
right, exactly.
Saying, yeah.
But my whole thing is this, right? Why is the money
increasing and safety?
No, it's like, where are they allocating the money is the question. Like, come on, is corporate pocketing the money? Because it's not making any sense. It seems like the higher the fare, the less safe it is. At this point, this should not even be a question, right? Or it shouldn't even be a thought. There needs to be New York City officers on every car of the train. Like, this is common sense.
At least 2 on each car.
Exactly, because for him to even escape is nonsense. Second of all, I'm pretty certain he's not going to get too far, right? Because there's CCTV cameras all over the place. So hopefully they see him at every stop, every location. But for the most part, I just find it so disgusting and distasteful.
Yeah, it was very heart-wrenching to watch to most people.
Disgusting. And they said it was 2 guys involved that got stabbed.
Right.
I mean, I don't care even if there was an argument or whatever it is, right? There should be nothing, and I repeat, nothing that angers you that much to allow you to step out of character to literally stab somebody. Right. Unless maybe this man was mentally ill. We don't know anything.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to control the rage when somebody is fully engulfed in it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yes. Somebody pissed you off. You just want to get back at that person for whatever reason it is. She's right, exactly. It shouldn't take you to get that irate to the point where you want to commit violence. Right. And because there's consequences behind every action that you take. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, like even myself, we grew up in Brooklyn, we grew up in New York. So I had an incident on myself, but it was like, you know, for everybody who know what it was, on St. John's Place at that time in a supermarket, matter of fact. The guy was actually trying to, I guess he was trying to shoplift a whole bunch of stuff, and he got pissed because the manager told him that, you know, of course, you know, the manager stopped him and said, you know, you can't be doing this, X, Y, Z. So he pulled out a butcher knife about this long, I would say, right?
Want to be wrong and strong.
So as he's waving the knife, I'm not thinking about nothing else but trying to figure this out. So I decided to go ahead and apprehend him like some kind of superhero fool. But, you know, thank God everything went good for me because, you know what I'm saying, I was able to get him to drop the knife, and, you know, everybody else just kind of grabbed him and they did what they had to do. So I disappeared from there. So it's like nobody could, you know what I'm saying? Because
pinpoint you, have your ID or anything.
I did what I had to do, but I'm not looking for the kudos to back it up.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, I went home and I told my wife what happened, and I was kind of reluctant about telling her anyway, but she had to know just in case something.
But to be honest with you, right, he was out there playing superhero. Meanwhile, at that time, the two young ones were young ones. They were little. We talking about maybe like 1 and 3, so if that much.
I didn't think about none of that until afterwards.
After he told me the story, right, I was like, yes, I'm glad you got him. Yes, I'm glad you were able to help out because, you know, as I said before, everybody's grown. Like, let's try to apply some discipline, act like we have some common sense even if we don't, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I mean, for the most part, I just find it really distasteful, like I said, and it's disgusting. Not to mention in your situation, right, the guy was shoplifting. You mentioned that word? He was shoplifting and he was putting stuff in the stroller,
in the stroller. It was his female partner, I would say. They had the kid in the stroller, and they had a bunch of other stuff underneath the stroller in the carriage underneath there.
Stealing groceries.
Yeah, so at the time, like I said, I wasn't thinking about none of that. I just wanted to make sure everybody was safe, and, you know, I jumped into action, and thank God everything went good.
Good Samaritan, yay!
Would I probably do it again? I don't know.
He got stabbed in his midsection and
the buttocks
thigh area, right? Like buttocks, thigh area. And I'm saying to myself, thank God he didn't hit this guy's femoral artery because it could have been devastational for this guy. Not to mention the other guy got stabbed as well. So 2 people stabbed.
Yeah, with the
you know, knife. And I think so deep because I'm like, with so many diseases out there, right?
That's
the transmission of diseases. I mean, I don't know if the 2 people that got stabbed, if they were friends, but who knows their status?
Friends or not,
right? Like,
you know, DNA
exactly. Like you out there, and who's to say that this prick didn't use this knife on somebody else?
Several people, matter.
You know, and then what's even more crazy is the fact that the train was crowded.
Yeah.
And everybody was so taken back. They were like, all like on a standstill. You had somebody recording. Everybody's like, oh, let me get out the way. This dumb behind of a man, he has a knife. So it's like nobody wants to get stabbed, which is, in all fairness, who the hell wants to get stabbed?
But as I'm watching the video, I'm sitting there thinking of many different scenarios of where I could have probably played a part in there. Here I go again. So I'm saying to myself, you know, let me know in the comment section while watching this video if you guys would have actually thought about doing something or whatever the case might be. If something came to your mind, well, yeah, you could have done this, la da da, X, Y, Z, because I looked at the video very carefully and I noticed that they had a couple of guys back there who could have probably apprehended that guy who was doing stabbing.
I was more so thinking like just jumping him and strong arming him. You know what I'm saying? Like he couldn't be. You know, obviously he can't beat everyone.
Definitely.
So,
but they just kept their minds and their faces straight and just minding their business on that train. But long story short, man, we took public transportation several times. You know, going back and forth on the trains, the bus. And I can honestly tell you, it was always some sort of situation, not with us. Well, every once in a while it was with us, but majority of the time it was with somebody else. And you have to always worry about how it's going to play itself out. Is the person going to start fighting or whatever the case might be? But
at least, thank God, back then, people were vicious, but they weren't as vicious as now. Now it seems like
it's a whole different ballgame.
It's like
there was always somebody getting stabbed or something back there. It wasn't much shooting, but it was always somebody getting stabbed.
Right, but it seems like it's even worse now. People are just fighting for no cause at all. Yeah. You have people attacking people just out of the blue for nothing.
Yeah.
You know, you hear so many stories if you watch the news where people are like, you know, this person attacked this person, and when they, do the investigation, did this person know this person? No. So then why are you attacking them? You're just walking up to people and literally attacking. It's just disgusting and
just random situations.
Unfortunately, this is a time that we live in, and pretty soon, I think many different cities and states, they need to beef up the security.
Yeah, I think
that's the only thing that's going to make New York City a better place.
Correct.
Along with other cities as well. That's just out there, just acting crazy.
Right.
Chicago being one of them.
Right, and not for nothing. We traveled to Georgia, and I can honestly tell you that the metro system in Georgia, the way they have that see-through glass that's right there that could prevent people from getting pushed on the subways or whatever the case may be, the doors to that what they call it, plexiglass, whatever, it doesn't open until that train actually stops.
Arrives in the station.
I've never heard of anyone getting pushed on that train in Georgia, right? I just wish that New York would kind of mirror, kind of take that advice and do the same thing for the subway system.
Exactly, and I think Korea has that same subway system set up exactly.
Correct.
Because that's another thing, people being pushed onto the subway tracks and all this other thing, stuff. But there's, and like my husband said, it's like there's these protective plexiglass installed
we was
type
very
things.
Impressed when we saw it,
and it's like you can't. There's nobody pushing anybody onto the subway tracks. In fact,
total safety.
That it's like doors. So the doors, they don't open until that train is there. Stops. And once the train leaves, it closes again for security purposes. Yeah. And I think it's the best thing ever. Like I said, they have it in some Asian countries. I don't understand why.
Where the money's going.
Where the money is going.
The fares are increasing, but where's the money going?
I don't know. Because other states, they charge way less to ride the subway system.
Perfect.
But for some reason, they have a better safety mechanism in place.
There you go.
But anyway, y'all. And this story right here, we saw it. We had to come to you because we're like, listen, this is just getting crazy. Yeah. And it needs, certain things need people to talk about it in order to shine light on it. Because they need to know that we're watching and they need to be held accountable for their actions. So the more people that spread their faces or whatever it is by either posting it on social media or us coming, bring the story live and direct is going to definitely slim their chances of getting away and committing this crime again. But anyway, my loves, that's about it.
Just be safe. You're in New York City. It's a very crowded place to be. Not only New York City, but just about anywhere nowadays, you have to just always have your eyes focused and get out them phones.
Exactly.
All right. So until next time, we will definitely catch you with another great video just like this one.